Welcome back to the Whiteout Weekly podcast on probably the darkest week of this podcast in 5 years. Losing to Oregon in double overtime. That was a snake bite. Then to come back and go to freaking UCLA with an interim head coach, interim offensive coordinator, interim defensive coordinator, and to lay an egg like that and just to come out. I don't want to get too fired up too fast here, but the way we entered that game, I was like, dude, we're going to win by 3 points if we're lucky. Like, Dave, I'm out. I'm done with Penn State football, out of it. I want to change this to a Big Ten podcast. That's how much I'm out. Can you convince me to get back in? Because I don't think you can. I don't think anyone in the world can. I'm so fucking pissed at James Franklin. I need him gone right now.
I don't think I'm going to be the one to convince you. I don't think I could even convince myself. It was
You
in
can. If anyone can, you can.
no, it's that the Oregon one was painful. It was eerily similar to the Notre Dame game, the Orange Bowl. Similar Drew Aller interception. Hate to see that, but to go out to the Rose Bowl in front of all 15 UCLA fans
And it's
where we
like,
got
all right.
UCLA
Sorry, I need
tarps.
to interrupt you right here. That was one of the things Franklin said. Is I never listened to the post uh, game press conference. One of the last things he said was, "Oh yeah, the travel had an effect on our kids." Shut the fuck up, dude. We've been to the Rose Bowl 7 years, 5 out of 7 years. That should not be a problem.
Well, he says obviously it was the travel.
And you've been there 12 years. Like, come on. I'm sorry for being loud, but it's over. It's fucking over. It's over.
No, no, they had the tarps blocking out the seats that couldn't be filled. There was a lot of Penn Staters there, and I'm gonna go back to what you mentioned. Yes, they had an interim head coach and the interim coordinators. Matt, they weren't
Dude,
even
by the way,
promoted to
the,
coordinators.
the interim coordinator and the announcer, that could not have been more just like, let me shove that down your throat while you
Oh, it was
fucking
awful. But
suffocate.
what I was gonna say is he wasn't even didn't even have an official offensive coordinator title yet. He's just known as play caller.
That's what I was telling my dad that. I'm like, dude, this guy didn't have like he didn't coach football until 3 days ago.
It looked like he's 12.
Bro,
He came out
he's
the
younger
fucking
than
womb.
us. I think he's 30. Like, come
No.
on.
But yeah, the broadcast made it that a million times worse. And then just listening to Jerry Newhouse talk after the game, guy didn't even know how to work the headset. He had 2 games to prepare. Said there was numerous moments throughout the game where he couldn't talk to Nico because he didn't know how the button worked on the headset. And this is who
Don't care. I
fooled
don't care about
our
talking fucking Nico.
our $11 million a year head coach, our $3 million a year defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, and an offense that could only muster up 7 points against a UCLA defense and a UCLA team, mind you, who was winless. They're 4 touchdown underdogs
Never
and
led a single second of a game.
single second gave up 250 rushing yards a game on the ground. And the not that there's a lot of national buzz or talk about UCLA, but the conversation was this is a team that's going to go winless.
Yeah, dude.
It's one of the
And
worst Power Four teams in the country, and you lay an absolute dog shit egg like that.
so,
And
Dave, let me ask you a very simple question here. If they have one of the worst run defenses in the fucking league, who do you lean on with this roster?
fat man.
You exactly. You don't have the wide receivers. God knows why In 4 years, we have not gotten one. Sorry for everyone that I'm forgetting. We've not had one come through the transfer portal that's made an impact. You lean on the run game. The guys that have been there for 4 years, especially Fat Man, especially Katron,
Mhm.
he's proven so much more valuable this regular season than Singleton. Breaking tackles, long rushes, just grinding it out, letting those defenders know, hey, guess what? You're not going to tackle me and just like put me to the ground. I'm going to fucking stick my shoulder in your fucking chest and you're going to
Mhm.
feel it every time. And looking at the box score, here, I have it right here. 8 carries.
8 touches.
Give me a fucking break. I'm done with this coaching staff. Fire everyone. Like
Mhm.
I'm on that train. People can talk me off it, but I'm the conductor of fire Franklin, fire Big Zamboni, Cuddle Nicky. And guess what? Jim Knowles is a
Mhm.
fucking spy. Come at me, Ohio State bro, who said, Ohio State's afraid to kick off at noon. Yeah, Jim Knowles is a spy. That's another one of the fucking layers of the conspiracy theory that's going on here.
That would be the icing on the cake there. But
Why are they the best team every year?
yeah.
Spies.
Well, the perplexing thing with the Katron piece is I understand that they're trying to get Nick Singleton going, but you're 5 games into the year, something's wrong. Part of it's the offensive line play. They're not at the level that they were described to be, or the feeling for the coaching staff and the team, and really the fans, especially when we talked about our preseason pod, all the depth that they have at the O line. Something's not gelling there. And for the running backs, it's the simple statistics. Katron's averaging 7 yards a carry. Nick Singleton less than 4 yards a carry. And with Singleton, it's always been, oh, he just has to break one and he'll get that comment. Well, he's not doing it. So you got Katron Allen, who's getting 8 touches a game, still had 50 yards on the ground, mind you, in this one. Not in there in the most critical moments of the game, the 4th and 2 play call. Speaking of
God.
Nicky, where you run all they've been doing with Trevor Payne is these jet sweeps. The explanation was it was a power read for Drew to get him downhill. You, you need 2 yards. Who's been getting consistently been able to get you 2 yards every time he touches the ball all year long? Kaytron Allen. He's not even
Katron Allen,
in the
fat man.
damn game. Not even in the game. He's on the sideline. Couldn't feel worse for the guy who's in a big year going into senior season, looking to go to the NFL draft. But for the framework of this team, not putting the ball in 13's hands is just baffling. And the worst
It's
part is
in Drew Dave. It's insane that we let Drew Aller operate these. He missed 5 throws, but it's insane how we let him lead the team. He 11 carries.
well,
He's
the press
he's a
conference
one
from
read quarterback. He does not see his second read.
yeah.
Never, if ever, sees his check down.
Yeah. And more baffling piece is during the again the post game presser with Franklin was his commentary. Obviously, we talked before the game of getting Katron more touches, and then after the game, he said, obviously we talked about it after. Well, whose fault is it that he's not getting touches? He pawned the blame off to it's between the run game, running backs coach, position coach, and offensive coordinator. So that's Kodo Nicky and Stan Drayton. Well, the fact of the matter is, James, that you're still the man in charge, and if things aren't going the way that you expect them to, you got to step in and make a fucking call and say, "Hey,
Dude,
Katron's going in the damn game, and he's getting the ball because he's averaging 7 yards a carry."
and that's like that's what I loved. Everyone's like, "Oh, James Franklin, such a great recruiter." Show me the results.
Mhm.
Greatest recruiter, 12 years. We've gotten out recruited by Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, all 12 of those years.
Mhm.
You can't say that we've had a better class, a better team than
Mhm.
any of those three teams. Over James Franklin's 12 years, during his great recruiting process and all this shit, give me a coach who's like, hey, I was the secondary coach at Vanderbilt. They were like the number 5 secondary in the fucking league. Give me
Mhm.
that kind of coach who can be like on a 3rd and 8. Hey, defensive coordinator runs a, he's trying to do a cloud coverage. He's like, no, 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 man up,
Mhm.
two deep, two zone, bang, we got him.
Yeah.
Give me someone like that. James Franklin, I don't know if he like does any of that. He doesn't consolidate the coordinators at all, in my opinion.
I don't think he understands the game well.
Dude,
And a
he's
lot
just
of
there
that
for
has
recruiting, and he's
transpired
not even good at that.
in these
I'm
critical
sorry, I'm getting
moments,
so
these
fired
critical
up. It's just
games.
this is just
It's
getting me
it's there's a
back
common
into.
denominator here, and you just can't get it done. And it's getting to the point where it's just stale. I'd relate it, although I wouldn't categorize the success that Penn State's had to the same degree. I'm referring here to Andy Reid's time in Philadelphia, where it got to the point where hey, you just got to move on,
Yeah,
and especially now where the one leg he did have to even potentially stand on was they didn't lay eggs like this, and at a minimum, you lose the big games and go 10-2. Well, now you're talking about losing more than two games this year, because mind you, when you lay an egg like that against UCLA,
0 and 4,
Northwestern
you 0
Northwestern's
and
not
4
a
UCLA.
0-4 UCLA.
God
Northwestern's
damn.
not by any means a layup now in the
No.
homecoming game, and not to mention it's going to be an extremely hostile and toxic environment for Penn State, not Northwestern. And then you got Iowa, which was just announced as a primetime game at Kinnick. You got Ohio State on the road, and then you got a top 10 team in Indiana coming to Beaver Stadium. And then, even beyond that, you got Nebraska. That's not going to be a layup. So you're talking about a natty or bust season and is what it was hyped up to be. You had bringing in and ponying up the dough for the highest paid defensive coordinator, which publicly, I mean, Penn State fans, we felt good about it, but publicly put out there that this was the one of the pieces to get us over the hump.
He's
And
a
now you're sitting
spy.
here.
He's a double agent, dude. I'm
He might be a
telling you,
spy.
he's a
He
double
might be a spy.
fucking agent. I
And here
fucking
you
hate
are at
Knowles.
the end of week 5. You're 3-2. Your three wins are absolute garbage, and all those red flags that presented themselves during those first 3 weeks came to fruition, and then some in these last two Big Ten games. And you're unranked. You had a Heisman hopeful quarterback who, God bless him, is he maybe not the guy that can get you over the hump? Maybe that I think that's still out there, but he played his ass off on Saturday, and the receivers, man, it's one of those where you can't quite figure it out. Is it Drew's fault? Is the receiver's fault? But
Is it the coach's fault?
combination
Can we
of
get a
everything.
freaking wide receiver transfer portal? Like
Yeah.
someone, anyone? Can we recruit someone? Like it's John Dotson is the last name I can remember. Mitchell Tinsley to a degree, but Dotson's the last one I can remember. That was like, oh, he can catch anything.
Mhm.
Like throw him a back shoulder fade near the goal line, he'll catch that. But it's just like I'm just so fucking done with this team, man.
It's a complete disconnect across the coaching staff, which is ultimately one person's fault. That's the head man in charge, where it's just no one can understand why Katron Allen's not going the ball. It's a refusal. I know there was jokes about it, and it caught the national spotlight last year about the reporter. Uh, can't can't think of his name right now off the top of my head, but asking the question to Franklin about chucking it deep, where I know it probably wasn't asked correctly, but the fact of the matter is that Kotelnicki has a refusal to go vertical and continues to want to go horizontal. That's where you're seeing these jet sweeps and screens that just are not working. And I think it's also a combination of Kotelnicki's scheme just does not fit Drew Aller. He's not a dual
But
threat mobile quarterback. I don't know
yeah,
I'm not here saying that, hey, if you kept Bo Prabula, went the other, that would have never happened. But I'm not sitting here saying, hey, we'd be 5-0 if we kept the right quarterback. But I think that is a factor here where Drew's just not a fit for whatever Kotelnicki's trying to do here, whether, hey, the system is successful or not. I think that jury would still be out there, but it's a combination of all these factors and has just turned into an absolute disaster.
I totally agree with the Kotelnicki and Aller not clicking on the same, kind of page, but it's like did Kotelnicki just like had his entire all of his plays ran last year and was just like, well, gotta start again. Like QB draws, inside draw. Like It's the most basic fucking playbook I've ever seen in my life. I
Hmm.
could snip like I was calling plays before it was even
Yeah.
before it was even happening. I was like, they're gonna screen pass right here, little slant right here, not gonna be completed. God
The
damn.
the
I
one thing I to pile on top here that I want to add to the Franklin bit is
no, we're
in
gonna
his
keep piling on.
in
This
his
is not the
presser as
end.
well, he made it a point to highlight that special teams has been the most consistent group for Penn State all season long, and they laid an absolute egg on Saturday as well with the surprise onside kick, which completely just inexcusable. And then
Coaching, coaching, coaching.
in a key moment late in the game where you're getting the ball back to go back and tie it, nobody rushes the punter. And he burns about 10 to 12 seconds in the back of the end zone. Would that have made a difference? I don't know, but it's just disaster
It's
on all fronts. And look, he's talking about holding people accountable now, and who knows what the hell. It was very cryptic, the messaging, but ultimately, I guess it feels like more and more the Penn State fan base is shifting to just growing tired of this, especially when you can't put a 10-2 in your back pocket in a year like this year, because you can't compare this to Ohio State last year. They
no,
didn't lose to a winless
no.
team as a 4 touchdown favorite. In fact, most ranked, I don't think any ranked team has ever done that. I think the stat was back in like 1980. Someone losing to a winless team as a ranked opponent, but yeah, it's tough sledding from here on out, and you're likely looking at not even a college football playoff berth. The way this season has gone right now, which
No,
is
not
a
even a
an
chance.
absolute disaster
Go Daddy Bowl is the best I'm thinking.
with
Like,
everyone
get the
sitting out.
fuck out of here with the
Yeah,
college football playoff. Go Daddy Bowl and fuck, or no, the Fenway Bowl in goddamn Boston. Go up
yeah.
there.
Go play
Fucking
Bill
freeze
O'Brien
your
in
ass
Boston
off.
College.
Not the kids, the coaches. Which I want to continue on the Franklin hate trade. You said to yourself, it's like if we had just one guy, sorry, well, if we just had a guy who knew football
Hmm.
that could be like, hey, Andy, here's one of my two plays that I have going on. Or, if he's a defensive guy, hey, here's a coverage I have, here's a blitz I have, blah, blah, blah. Then you can start bringing on other coordinators that kind of complement him. But he
Hmm.
has nothing going for him.
Hmm.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Everyone says, oh, he's such a good recruiter. Show me. Show me a good recruiting class that beat Ohio State and Michigan the past 5 fucking years. He's had what is it, 12 years? So that's
Hmm.
three recruiting classes that have gone through all the way through senior year, including COVID. So
Hmm.
probably 5 years of seniors. Like,
Hmm.
give me a fucking break. Franklin's such a dud. And lending up 42 points to the UCLA Bruins, who had three brand new head coaches, one offensive coordinator younger than us,
Hmm.
is just a fucking disaster. And let me just get my last yelling out before the audio listeners just shut this off. Jim Knowles, fuck you. You're a fucking spy. Tony Rojas goes down. So we got Amari Campbell, Dom DeLuca. What does Jim Knowles do? Three safeties deep every time at the fucking marker. It was a rotation of Zakee Wheatley. Great game. I don't want to shit on Zakee Wheatley at all. King Mack, another great game. Dewan Lane made some terrific tackles. And Kenny Wosley Jr. made some terrific tackles as well. Played in the slot. But when Nico runs for
Hmm.
128 yards and three touchdowns, you gotta bring like Zion Tracy was that line position, that third linebacker coming to the box. You gotta fucking stick with that if that's gonna happen.
Hmm.
It was so many times where you had two linebackers, they had to fill their zones, everyone else was playing man, and no one had eyes on the quarterback. And it was just like, this is the fourth quarter, Jim. What are you doing? This makes no sense. You're supposed to be the best defense coordinator in the country. That's why I think you're a spy. Clip that if you will. Jim Knowles spy, Ohio State afraid to play tonight. Clip it. I don't care. I'm done.
At the end of the day, for this one, did not knowing what UCLA was going to run, was that a factor? Sure. Does not having Tony Rojas, would he have been in a position to spy? Sure. But you're telling me that with Penn State's talent on defense, that you couldn't quickly adapt to what they were doing and shut it down, or not give up 42 points to the one of the worst Power Four teams in the country.
The worst team in
And
the Big Ten. I'll say that.
yeah,
After watching
and
Purdue and Northwestern and all them, I'll say
historically
they're the worst team.
a historically bad football program, and that was very evident with the attendance in the Rose Bowl on Saturday, with majority of the attendance being Penn State fans who had to unfortunately sit there and watch that, including my buddy Sean, who was there in attendance. So sorry, Sean, you had to sit through that, but it was
Shout out, Sean. We respect you.
absolutely
We respect Sean.
horrific that someone that we're clamoring as the piece to get us over the hump, especially in big games, would be able to make it a quick or at least a halftime adjustment. And they did. I mean, they outscored them in the second half, but it was too deep a
Defensively,
hole.
did they make a halftime adjustment?
They slowed them down slightly, but I mean they still
But
allowed
it
Nico
was
in
still
some really big spots.
that
Yeah.
three safety shell, two linebackers up. Nico still ran all. We had no spy in place.
Yeah.
Like it was a fucking disaster, dude.
Mm.
It was just, and then I mean, just talking about the coaching staff.
Mhm.
Not for out on the players too much, but like we came our first episode, we said, "Hey, we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. We're actually excited about this offensive line and
Mhm.
defensive line." Nope. We've gotten bullied the fuck around the past 2 games. Absolutely bullied. Like, and that's where Catron's stat line kind of comes in. Like, he's
Yeah.
getting the ball 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He has to like make two guys miss a tackle before he can even get to positive yardage.
And he's still getting 7 yards a pop.
Insane. I mean, he's Penn State decide he's going to be one of the best running back prospects in this draft, and I will be drafting him next year in fantasy all day long. And that's what I'm looking forward to the rest of the year because I'm fucking done with this team. But all right, so I got a couple notes here. Um, Second half, or might have been the first. Aller had a scramble on 3rd and long, and it got turned over because Kyron Hudson was holding downfield when he did not need to be. Again, coaching James Franklin, coaching. And then Cole Diggins scores a touchdown, makes it 27-14, and he gets an unsportsmanlike conduct for a celebration. Might have been bullshit, might have been not, but
That is
again,
bullshit. Still.
coaching James Franklin, coaching.
Mhm.
That's your job. You don't do anything else at Penn State besides you recruit really good. Get your team in line so we don't have those stupid holding penalties down the field when we have a 3rd and 12 conversion from Drew Aller. Do not let your tight end celebrate a little too much. Air quotes there. When he scored a touchdown, 27-14. It's, hey, back to the line of scrim, back to the fucking sidelines. We're down 13. Let's go. We need points. Root for your defense right now.
Mhm.
And just going back to Cold Nicky, man, like I swear to God, he must have used all of his plays last year. Like it's just the most vanilla offense I've ever seen in my life. Even
Mhm.
like our downfield passing is like, oh, it's a 12-yard out to Kyron Hudson. It's like, that's it. That's
Yeah.
what we're doing here
Mhm.
in your second year. Like, come on, man. God, I don't know if you can tell. I'm not recovering from this. This is just an absolute nightmare.
Not where we thought we would be, huh?
No, not at all. Denied and his son did tweet that it's all of us. Um, again, I'm not trying to bash on any players. I think Denied Dennis Sutton is going to be a premier pass rusher in the NFL. But dude, you got to have more than one move. He was just speed rushing up the field every single time. No contain. That C gap was wide open the whole freaking game. And
Hmm.
that's where Anthony Woods got his 63 yards. I mean, I'm sure once he got upfield past Nico, Nico was just like, ah, sprint the middle. No one's even looking at me 10 yards down the field because Jim Knowles doesn't know how to run a freaking spy defense. And then just going to James Franklin. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm done. I will not root for that man. We're playing Northwestern. Don't know what the spread is. I'm not even rooting for them. I'm gonna have a multi-view on YouTube TV. Have that going. Might not even have them in the four, depending on the slate that's coming up here.
It's a good slate this weekend.
Yeah, so might not even have them on the fucking slate. Uh, but in his, I never ever go back to listen to the post uh game press conferences. But he was talking shit.
Hmm.
He goes, "We didn't recover from last week against Oregon. We lost.
Obviously, we didn't recover from last week.
Yeah, we lost
You
a
got to throw
few,
in the obviously when you're talking.
lost a few guys against Oregon. Who?
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of travel. Get the fuck out of here. It's 2025. You guys take private jets. There's NIL money. Travel's not a thing. I know I try to say it with my bets every time, but like that's not an excuse when you're playing at 3 fucking 30.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I want a complete wipe of this coaching staff. Jim Knowles, go back to Ohio State because you were a spy. Benedict Arnold, even though he actually was one of the heroes of the second battle of the American Revolution,
To break out my textbook.
and then quickly turns. Yeah, weird fun facts about Benedict Arnold, um, who, aka Jim Knowles. Colton Nicky, go back to fucking Kansas, bro. Rub your fucking ruby slippers and just transport back there. James Franklin, 12 years. Nice to fucking know ya. Goodbye. I'm done with you, dude. You know nothing about football. Give me
Yeah.
like if he was like a Nick Saban, like oh, I was the secondary coach. I can, you know, kind of help out this unit.
Hmm.
Saban was the head coach slash secondary coach up until his last year at Alabama.
Hmm.
James Franklin, CEO and recruiter? Is that what we're gonna put him as? Like, what the fuck?
Academic advisor too. Make sure they all get to class on time.
Eh, yeah. Front row. Oh shit, front row. Forgot to be good at football. One last fucked up fact about Franklin following a loss since 2021. So after the terrific or horrific COVID season. Franklin's 5-1 against spread, now 5-2. But leading up until the game, he was 5-1 against spread after straight up loss.
Hmm.
And this loss it wasn't against any. Maybe Nico will be a backup in the league one day. Zero, zero NFL talent.
Hmm.
So Dave, I'm so pissed off. I have one name on my list that I want. as the next Penn State head coach, but I feel like you have a better head on your shoulders than me at the current moment. So, who's on your short list? Just to give me a little taste of what might come after, because he still has a $50 million payout.
Yeah, and timing is always key too. I mean, you saw some program. I mean, UCLA fired their head coach in September after week
Yeah,
two.
I don't think it'll be mid season.
You
I
had
think I
Arkansas
think they'll
fire
let
Sam
them ride
Pittman, Oklahoma
ride
State
this
fired Mike
out.
Gundy. None of those
Yes,
guys are any viable candidates to replace Franklin. So I think if anything's coming, the unfortunate piece is I think it's probably coming at the end of the year, and that's an if. Like you said, I want him gone as bad as you do, and as bad as most people at this point.
just one thing. Uh, a little silver lining. If we
Mhm,
don't make the college football playoff, early bowl game,
mhm.
earlier firing,
Early access to the
earlier
coaching
hiring.
carousel. Yeah.
But we just
So
we had to pay that $50 million, which is
yeah,
going to do what
big
to
hit.
our
It's big
NIL, or is it
big
gonna
purse. Yeah, I mean, the I think when a lot of it's going to depend on how things shake out with some of these other programs that have openings and the timing of all this. Usually, you see that coaching carousel in December and January during playoff time. So yeah, if Penn State's not in playoff action, then they're going to have more time to go interview and bring some of these guys in. So I think for me, it's not going to be an extremely appealing list for folks. But if I were to run through it, I think. Matt Rule, someone that's always going to come up. Do I have an appetite for bringing him to Happy Valley? Not really. He hasn't quite been able to turn around at Nebraska, but he's a Penn State alum, former Penn State player. So he's a name that just historic, even before Franklin was somewhat connected to the program.
actually knows football?
Actually knows
A
football.
plus.
Fran Brown at Syracuse could be a name to look out for. He's done some really good things with the Syracuse program, mainly last year with Cal McCord and current Penn State wide receiver Trevor Pena. Would he make a move to a bigger program with bigger spend? I'd like to think so. A couple other group of five names. You got John Summerall at Tulane, who's been a hot name on the coaching carousel for the last couple years. Alex Golish at USF. They had a great start to the beginning of the season. And then yeah, I think those were the short list of names that I had. Some different names could come about as the season progresses, but like I said, there's not a sexy hire out there right now or an obvious one, but I think at this
Yeah.
point it's mainly, hey, just ready for something different.
Yeah. I mean, right now, people coaches are still fighting for their jobs, to stay in their home city or their current city. What about John Gruden? He's
Now here's a guy.
expressed interest in the SEC. If we get him bought into Penn State culture, I think now here's a guy that I think could
Let me tell you
turn
about
Penn
Penn
State
State football.
culture around. You want to be a dream here at Penn State? I want to be a freaking nightmare.
We're not going to the Peach Bowl.
But yeah, I don't see that happening. Unfortunately, given that short list, unless someone like really pops off the board that like players and the athletic department is excited about, that's who I think we're gonna go with. Otherwise, it's such a $50 million eat is so tough that I think you kind of just kick it down the road like a can.
Couple
Dave
other names
Franklin's
that
a
I
can.
couple other names that I did forget that I've seen circulating around. Kurt Signetti, who I would love. I
Wait,
don't know if
whoa.
Indiana would let him
Sig-
get away.
No, there's no way.
So he's
There's
one.
no way Indiana would let him
Sign
go.
me up. I would.
If
Uh,
they do, I mean, we already offered James Franklin the world, but Give that guy. I mean, come on.
I'd give him the key to State College. You got him, Ben Arbuckle, offensive coordinator at Oklahoma, and then another name that just came to mind for me, Will Stein, offensive coordinator at Oregon.
Ooh, I like that call actually. Will Stein. I remember seeing him on the broadcast. That's
Mhm.
actually a really good call.
Would any of these
Um,
guys jump ship and take the job? You'd like to think, especially with the increase in NIL spend and investment in the football program, that's a lucrative job. And again, these are all hypotheticals. I think even at this point, with how bad we want it and how bad a lot of the fan base wants it, I think it still would be shocking to see them move on. Do I think it would be the right move? Yes. But knowing
yeah, I
how
agree.
strong the bond between him and Pat Kraft seems to be, I'd be hard pressed to think he pulls the trigger. I think the rest of this year would have to spiral completely out of control for them to make a move. But if that's the necessary evil they got to go through to make it happen, uh, maybe you do. I know the players aren't going to want that, but as a fan base, maybe.
No, and it's like again, going back to he's such a good recruiter. Keemon Spell, number one running back in the 2027 class.
Mhm.
Great. Came to the Whiteout game. What do you think he left that game thinking?
Mhm.
This school fucking sucks. Let me go to Oregon. Let me go to Texas. Let me go to an SEC school. Because this team can't beat Oregon at night
Mhm.
in a whiteout game. So it's
Well,
like,
I think it's fair to say it could definitely start to become, if it hasn't already, become psychological. I know that's a crazy thing to maybe point out, but for the current players who
no,
have
not
been
at
here
all.
for,
Not at all.
4 or 5 years, who just repeatedly have not been able to win the big games, that starts to flutter your mind like, damn, can we really win this game? But even for recruits who, especially when Penn State's getting after them, early on, especially with this, that, not to say that, hey, it takes social media to have the wherewithal, but also there becomes a notion where, hey, go to Penn State to play in great games and great environments like that, but you're not going to win them. You can play in front of 112,000 in a primetime whiteout, but it was a 50-50 shot you're going to win that game. Just look at the record of whiteouts. It's not very favorable.
The one thing I will say, Franklin does get players to the NFL, to their essentially their ultimate goal.
Yeah.
A side quest is winning a national championship. Ultimate goal, making their family proud, getting
Mhm.
drafted by Roger Goodell. But again, just the recruiting. You go back all those years. He's four and James Franklin, 4-21. 4-21 against top 10 teams.
Mhm.
That's not recruiting classes. That's the fucking coach and the coordinators. And the coordinators have been good for the most part.
And there's been
So,
plenty of them.
and so my brain goes to that's the coach.
Hmm.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. When there's a
Doesn't know
critical
ball.
call, he looks at his coordinators and they're like third, second year guys are like, this is what I ran at fucking Kansas. This is what I ran at Florida International. Like, they don't know what they're fucking doing. You need that head honcho to look up to and be like, hey, I'm thinking this. What do you think? And he's
Hmm.
like, he reaffirms you, or is like, you know what, maybe we
Yeah.
should not a passing play here. We should do a running play. Or defensively, it's like a third and short. Defensive coordinator is like, hey, not really sure what to do here. What do you think? He's like, cover zero.
Yeah.
Just bring everyone. Bring a
Yep.
blitz. You need someone on one side of the ball that's gonna fucking help, and James Franklin gives zero of that. And anyone who tells me that he's some great recruiter can
Mhm.
suck my ass, dude. Suck my ass. We haven't out recruited Oregon, Michigan, or Ohio State in 12 years.
Yeah.
I can't yell anymore. The last thing I'm gonna yell at is just like clip it all you want. Jim Knowles was hired by Penn State or got transferred to Penn State by Ohio State to sabotage this season. Just like Ohio State is afraid to play at night. You heard me right. Ohio State is afraid to play at night. And they sent a goddamn double agent into Penn State to freaking ruin our season. Like, Dave, so Tony Rojas goes down for the season. We got Amari Campbell, a UNC transfer linebacker, who in his own right is phenomenal. Made
Hmm.
some great tackles. Not necessarily a linebacker one, a Mike linebacker, but we had to mash him up with Dom DeLuca, who Agent Zero we love,
Hmm.
will always love for his heart, his grit, everything he puts out in the field. But you're just lining those two up against just a absolutely inefficient defensive line, who again, we talked about it, is getting pushed 3 yards the other direction, which they should not be. And you're running three freaking safeties at the
Hmm.
sticks. It's like, what do you think Nico's gonna do?
Hmm.
Obviously, he's gonna do that. And then like I was just looking at, we talked about AJ Harris is the fucking man, even though he got scored on.
Hmm.
Um, but I was looking at the other cornerbacks, saw Audavian Collins, number 2 out there. Saw Elliot Washington the second, number 9 out there. And then I saw number 5, Darius Dixon,
Hmm.
out there, cornerback. Safeties rotated in Zakee Wheatley, number 6, my man. Number 16, King Mack, my man. Number 10, Dewan Lane, who had a pretty good game despite the result. And then Kenny Wosley Jr., who is slowly losing reps and reps and reps. At safety, he lined up in slot a bunch of the time. And then another cornerback, we had Zion Tracy in that lion role. So that's one, two, three, four, five, 6 players at cornerback and safety.
Hmm.
What the hell are we doing there? We had this schedule lined up. Nevada, Florida International, Villanova, a bye week, Oregon. Yeah, double overtime loss, whatever.
Hmm.
UCLA. We should have this shit figured out by now, right?
Yeah.
Like
The
what?
notion was whatever didn't work against Oregon, you would have gotten worked out against UCLA, not give up 42 points and lose.
And it was every other series. It was every other series. I was like, I was texting. I was like, I'm pretty sure number 5's on the field. You're like, no, 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 that's Collins. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm not high. I'm not on
Yeah, you were
mushrooms.
right. It was
It's a
big.
5, dude. I'm looking at a 5. It's not 9. And then just, oh, dude, the fucking cloud coverage, the 3 safeties was just like anytime we went into that, I'm like, first down, here we go. Nico is just gonna, if he doesn't have his first or second read, he's just gonna bust it up the
Yeah.
middle. Because Dom DeLuca and Amari Campbell were not in spy positions. They were literally in their hook curl zones, 10 yards back,
Yeah,
trying to
I was gonna say
defend
just
people.
also
Like,
just putting DeLuca in just some unfavorable positions, and I think I even looked at the snap counts for the game. I think DeLuca played 78 of 80 snaps on defense.
I mean,
So
he had to.
yeah, he had
Ross,
to.
yeah.
Oh, but no offense to Don, he's not equipped to be able to handle what they were asking him to do with Nico. I mean, you got to have some other solve. I get it, Tony's a big part of the defense, but you're basically just conceding and saying this was a one linebacker core, which is not the case given how Amari Campbell's played to start the year. I mean, we knew it was a weak spot going into the year, but at this point, I mean, that was the point of playing in Nevada, a Florida International, and Villanova, to see what the hell you have, and to be able to have one or two guys. And the other confusing piece is names that you hear throughout the weeks, you don't end up seeing them. You know, you have Alex Tash, young guy who played, I thought, really well against Villanova. They were talking about getting him more reps. Didn't hit the field. You know, when Dom went out briefly, it was Cam Miller out there. But I mean, these guys just didn't have an opportunity to develop and prove themselves in the first 3 weeks of the year because you were barely getting by those games. I
It,
mean, the scores looked like you did, but if anyone watched that game, it wasn't hey, in the second half, give the ball to Grunk and put all the backups in. It was holy shit, this offense is not clicking at all, or the defense is not clicking. Keep them in, and the depth just hasn't been developed, and it's just not there. And at this point in the year, it's too late. You're getting in the heat of Big Ten play here, and you got that gauntlet coming up at the end of the month. So I mean, this is what you got. So it's feast or famine, and they ain't feasting right now.
yeah, and that again goes back to my frank, like we're linebacker you. If we lose one linebacker, how does that completely derail our defense? If James Franklin's such a great recruiter, if
Hmm.
our Arrington Jr. the second didn't get any reps, like no one you would no one to fill in that spot.
Hmm.
You're the CEO of this freaking college franchise. Like, that's your job, bro. You're getting paid 50 or not $50 million a year. However much you're getting paid a
11 mil.
billionaire salary when it
Yeah.
comes down to it. Be prepared. Like Scar sung in The Lion King.
Yeah.
Be prepared. And he's not. He never is. Never will be. I will not root. It sucks. It's
Hmm.
a over a 20-year relationship with Penn State, and I'm sad to say I can't root for them when James Franklin is their head coach. I can't do it. I cannot do it. The guy's a fucking four-eyed loser, dude. Four-eyed loser. Like, just I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk too much out of my ass, but like, just get him out of here. Get me a real football guy.
Hmm.
Give me someone who's like, hey, this is Penn State football. We show up, not to be Joe Pa, but like, we show up 15 minutes early. We get on the practice field. We work our fucking asses off.
Hmm.
I recruit my ass off. I know my offense coordinator, my defense coordinator are in line with what I do,
Hmm.
which is offensive, defensive, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
But James Franklin is not it, dude. Not fucking it. And yeah, I mean, I don't know where this podcast is gonna go. We might just do shit on Penn State for like 15 minutes and then bet on every Big Ten game there is imaginable. Or we were thinking of doing the traditional Big Ten betting bonanza and then having another four picks, right? At a conference.
Hmm.
That makes seven.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we uneven. So that way we would have a little competition going on. And our thought was bringing on a third mic. So we will see who that's going to be. I didn't even look at the spread this week. We're probably like
21
what,
and a half.
14? What?
21 and a half.
I'm taking the fucking Wildcats plus 21 and a half all day. I said 14 and a half.
Yeah.
Not ranked. We're not going to do it. We're filming on a Tuesday. We're not doing Big Ten betting bonanza this week. We will have our picks out as we probably do video of our picks and then our four others as well
Hmm.
later in the week
Yeah.
for sure. Um, but it's a sad day, sad week, sad bad week. Penn State, the most promising season that we've had since we started this, little shitty podcast just got flushed down the fucking toilet
Hmm.
so fast.
Hmm.
And it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't suck. We will be here every single week, whether it be shitting on Penn State football, talking about college football, giving you guys some picks that will make you go slightly above 500 in your betting. So you're not getting there's some article I read. It was like sports betting is leading to massive divorces and addiction for young men. I'm like, these guys betting fucking their mortgages on shit, like a $10 5 layer better,
Yeah.
5 leg parlay. Who cares? So we'll see where this goes. This podcast, as it will, as far as Penn State, I honestly wish for them to go to the Pinstripe Bowl or what is it, the Fenway Bowl?
Yeah. Fenway Bowl.
Yeah, one of those two. I right. What do they need? 4 losses to get in there?
I actually don't know what the record requirement is for that. I think it sounds like a 6-6 or 7-5 bowl.
Put them in there. Who cares?
Yeah.
They'll draw enough crowd attention. Send Penn State to fucking Fenway Park or Yankee Stadium. Let them suffer the rest of the season as James Franklin stays in Boston or stays in fucking New York. And sorry for everyone who had to listen to this negative podcast, but we haven't had one of these in a while.
Yeah.
It's
You do.
we try to, I mean, 4-21 against top 10 opponents. We try to keep positive every time, but letting up 42 points to UCLA is just
Mhm.
that'll rip your spine out and be like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Talking about Penn State fucking football. Like, this is abysmal. Abysmal.
Yeah.
So, the show will go on. As always, we love you guys for supporting us throughout these trials, throughout these tribulations. We will continue talking about Penn State or, you know, branching out, giving you a little money advice.
Mhm.
Hopefully, you don't lose money on the season. You're above 500. Bring in a little bank for Christmas. Give your
Christmas season.
siblings and parents some gifts. But that's all I gotta say until James Franklin is fired.
Mm.
I guarantee a loss against Ohio State, and I'll also guarantee a loss against Indiana. We're gonna have 4 losses on the year. That's where I'm at.
8-4. Yeah.
Yeah, if we haven't shown up in the first half once, we're a Big Ten play now.
Yeah.
If it hadn't happened yet, it's not gonna happen in the future.
Hmm.
It sucks to say, but yeah, it looks like this Nittany Lions season is done. Phillies down 0-2, but tomorrow night, Flyers, baby.
Hey,
Start a Flyers podcast.
don't break our hearts.
Change all it up to Flyers gear. We
Couple of hockey
will,
go ice.
we will earn Penn State ice hockey.
Oh
Gavin,
yeah,
that'd be nice.
we can talk about Gavin McKenna all day.
Might have to do that. But for now, we are just gonna sink in our sorrows and wait for Franklin to be fired, which seems sort of like 50 million's a lot, man. A lot of money.
A lot of bread.
Colleges have done it before, but yeah, I agree with you. I think he's gonna finish out the season, which is why I hope we lose our last game in the Fenway or Pinstripe Bowl and just leave James Franklin there. Let him coach Boston College. Don't care. Don't care. I would end it with who we are, but I don't end it. I don't have it in me. We suck.
See you guys.